going into last week, Coach kind of said Preston was cleared Thursday, able to kind of do his full practice. Just what was the conversation, or was there a conversation about, well, even if he's cleared, do we go with Kevin to give him a little more time, see what Kevin's got, or was it if Preston's ready, Preston's going?
No, Preston's our starting quarterback. We were going to play him if we could play him, and if he was a guy, he's a guy that's led our offense the whole time. We know what he's going to do in a game setting from start to finish, and he's worked himself. He's led this team to this point, so there wasn't any conversation past. I mean, we prepared as if Kevin had to be the guy, with kind of cautious optimism that Preston would make it back, and then when he did, then we could proceed as we game planned. So,
what were your thoughts on the run game this past weekend? It was probably one of the most complete team performances in years here.
Yeah, it was exciting to get it going there a little bit. It was finally, something that golly, how long have we been talking about that? Since March, right? About making sure that we could run the ball better and investing in that and just continuing to push and continue to do that. We had a guy get hurt and we changed positions and still were able to do what we did. 4 different guys score touchdowns and they were supporting each other on the sidelines. Our receivers were blocking like crazy, and we got a good solid group of guys that can maneuver the ball down the field, but they were all pulling for each other, and that's a kind of a testament to what this team's become, and that starts with Coach Lashley, and then certainly Preston and what he's done from a leadership standpoint, and all our guys. Where we get into the game like that, where I think we threw the ball maybe like 5 times in the second half, right? And we had that one drive at the end of the game where we're running right here. We're running right here. Good luck, and they couldn't. And that was fun. That's a fun thing. It's why you play the game, and that's the most dominant teams that I've ever been part of are teams that can run the football like that. Really great physicality, great consistency, and kind of really get stronger as the game goes along.
With that, I know UNT's defense has struggled against the run, but I think that might be the first game that you've had all 4 of your top backs fully available to you. Does that also help with some different styles? Obviously talented top to bottom, but does it help when all 4 are there and you can give them some slightly different looks with different guys too?
Yeah. I think it's good anytime that you can give them a change up, give them a fresh set of legs, and do that. Obviously, when we're operating at our best, we want to play 2 running backs, and then we know Levine's going to get his through the course of playing the third downs and what it is that we can get done. And then it was great that we were able to get in a position where Kamar could play and do that. And we've had a different conversation about running backs about every week. So, you'd like to play those 2, knowing that you got your third down back if you get an opportunity to play that third guy. And we were blessed to be, to play well enough, particularly in the second half. I mean, that was a completely dominant second half, and we were able to come out and get a lot of guys touches.
It's a big game for Moochie. I know that he had, I think his finger was only a partial splint this time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hand specialists. You know how those guys are.
But can you talk a little about what you've seen from this season? I know he had a really great fall camp, and to finally kind of see that translate on the field. What was that like?
Yeah, I know he's been frustrated through the course of this dislocation and everything as it's nursed itself back in, and the science is so much more advanced than it was. We dummy taped mine when they came out, and then you would deal 6 months later, you're still dealing with a problem, right? Or it was surgery right then, and now they can take some of these surgical things and delay them through the splint technology and everything that they have. So that's been awesome to see. Him push through that. I know he's battled through some frustrations, but getting a little closer to being healthy and feeling that. We made sure that he didn't get 100 yards, so nobody would have 100 yards receiving this year. Stopped him dead at 99, and then I'm just kidding. But it was, it was really good to see him come up and our guys. Again, I thought it was a great testament at the end of the game to see how hard they were playing for the running backs, to see how supportive they were of each other on the perimeter, and receivers are a different bunch. I've coached them before too, and they're raised since birth to compete over the ball, which is a good thing. You want guys that are hungry for that, but it's hard to share it sometimes, and they've done a great job of that this year, and certainly displayed that on Saturday as well.
With Jordan Curley going down, you kind of needed someone to step up. How important maybe was it for Moochie to be that guy as kind of the veteran outside receiver at SMU at this point?
Yeah, that's wild to say. Moochie hadn't been here 18 months yet, but it's I really hate it for Jordan. You know, he's progressed himself a long way, and really put himself in position for the next level. You know, having an opportunity there, and so we're glad to have him around our team and to be with us. And he's been a great kid, great investment in that. He's been out here every day at practice, and you know, he's a great supporter of what it is that we want to do. Having Moochie step in is, you know, that's the best teams I've been a part of, right? Is someone next man up has an opportunity to answer the bell, and they step in there and they do that, right? And we've got certainly, we've talked about the ability of our receivers all year, and so to have guys that are able to fill in and have weeks where it's maybe not their week, and then have weeks where it is their week, and stay supportive of each other and continuing to do that, it's really been an awesome thing to watch develop. Coach Likens has done a great job with that run.
What are you seeing from the Memphis defense?
Memphis is really good. The best defense we've played in a couple months here, probably since East Carolina. Anyway, I don't know how long ago that was, a month ago, I guess. But they are they're big and they're athletic and they're fast and they're physical, and arguably the second most athletic defense we've played. But they do a really nice job stopping the run with their front six. You know, they play a more traditional defense than we've seen the past few weeks here. So getting kind of back into our, base operational about how we do schematically. You know, it's when you're blocking, well, like I think we talked about Rice a couple weeks ago and all the front presentations that they give you. And North Texas did very similar. That odd robber stuff is usually you're seeing something different every week. It'll be nice to see kind of an even front laid out there and try to be able to attack it. Now they do a great job. You know, they got big, powerful defensive linemen that are hard to move, I think, and do a great job setting edges, and they're fast in the secondary. And third down and red zone, they play man coverage, and they try to cover you, you know, and they really don't care whether they were playing Missouri earlier this year or whether they were playing North Texas a couple weeks ago. You know, they kind of do what they do, and it'll be a great challenge for our kids.
They've been in a couple shootouts, especially recently. You guys haven't really had to do that because of how the defenses play, but how ready does the offense have to be if they do hit a quick touchdown? You might be on the sideline and they might be able to hit one or two plays.
Yeah,
and you're right back.
Adversity is something that we've preached to them all year long. Now, fortunately, we haven't faced a lot of it, you know, and that's testament to Scott and the defense and what they've been able to do, and our guys too. They've really, what we were able to do in the second half. But I think we've taken the opportunities where it was tight, right? Where you enter the fourth quarter at East Carolina against a great defense, you're not being able to do anything and having to respond and score 21 unanswered points or whatever that was, you know, right? Or 17, I guess, at that point, right? You go into halftime really this past week against a North Texas team who's given us their best shot, you know, and it's 17-14, and we got to go out and answer that call, and we stepped up and did in the second half, right, and was able to take control of that game and finish it off the way we wanted to. So you got to draw on those experiences. Certainly you can't recreate adversity all the time. You know, we've talked about that a lot since we've been here, and I think that we set up situations practice-wise, but our team's really displayed a lot of maturity this year, and in situations where there's been some adversity, right, and even in situations that's just required maturity, and I think that they'll be ready for that. They've not turned on each other in situations that was hard situations getting down versus those Big 12 opponents early this year, and you know, they continue to fight and continue to try to score late in the game, and we've displayed the maturity that I think is necessary to face a situation that we have to expect. To your point, like we have to expect that this thing is going to turn into a really tight game. It's going to be a tight game all the way through 4 quarters, and there may be a situation where we're ahead, and if we're ahead, that's not enough points to stay ahead, and if we're behind, then we got to claw our way back in to make sure that we, you know, keep ourselves in contention to get it to the end of the game there, where we can have a chance to win.
The offensive line dealing with injuries for most of this season, getting to have that performance like last week, what does it kind of do for their confidence? You know, I don't feel like there have been a ton of games where it's like, oh man, the offensive line just imposed their will the entire time, but like you get that in a game like this, what does that do for their confidence?
Man, I think it's a booster. I nominated them for Player of the Week in the American Conference. Now, they don't do that, but they should have. So it was, they had stellar performance, right? 5.7 yards per carry or whatever, 58 carries for 320 yards, whatever it was. I mean, it just crazy, right? Protected the quarterback well. It was just an awesome performance by them. I think Coach Justice has done a great job with them. We're fortunate to have a guy like Justin Osborne who's a Swiss Army knife and can really fit. We've long talked about him arguably being the most athletic offensive lineman that we have. So in order to see him just switch mid-second quarter, go out there and play right tackle and finish the game for us, and did it at a really high level, and was able to plug inside and play with Ja'Kai Clark and some of those guys that are now ready to play. We're fortunate to be in the situation we're in. Obviously, they got a great challenge this week against a good defensive line, and I know that. I think to your point, I think that they are a confident bunch, and our whole team. That's that's echo of our team right now. We got a confident team that's not cocky, but I think that they know that they're good. I think that they're starting to get some attention that is probably deserved from their standpoint. But that's not going to go win this game, right? Confidence isn't going to win this game. It's going to be the humility to know in there. To go in there and put in the work that we've got to put in, today and tomorrow and Thursday, and our preparations Friday for kickoff on Saturday.
Kind of with the offensive line last year, Jalen Thomas, doing what he was able to do across all 5 positions. Jo showed that he can kick out to tackle. You then got a young guy in PJ who's played a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. Not that you want to force somebody to do that, but how important is it to have guys who have that ability, and then to kind of maybe nurture that along, so if they're asked to do it, they can?
Yeah, I think it's hugely important. I think it's vital to what it is that you're trying to do in recruiting. You got to pay attention to that. Sometimes you get an elite level position, specific player that he can only play this one position. We know that he can only play this one position, and so you got to train that because he's so elite at what it is that he does. But other than that, I think you got to cross train anybody that's athletic enough to handle. Food trays coming in, man. That'll be good. Help me get it up there. So it's important. It's important to get those guys cross-trained up, and I think we got to do a good job recruiting athletes that can play tackle, grow their way inside, and do that, and then you got to get multi-position guys that can snap. And if you can start kind of with those 2 athletic prototypes, then you can build out your offensive line kind of the way you want. Cool.